One of the very common conversations that I'm having with my coaches and our coaching conversations, it's actually becoming a bit of a recurring theme, interestingly enough, is a conversation around trust, and specifically a deficit in trust, a breakdown in a trust relationship, either between two individuals or between two departments, or sometimes even between two groups of people within the business. And as we all know, and I'm kind of linking to Stephen Covey's work, those of you who are familiar with Stephen Covey's work, specifically his book, The Speed of Trust, he emphasizes a very important fact that trust is a very hard measurement in business. And what we mean by that is that when there's a deficit of trust, it has a measurable impact, negative impact on the business. Let me give you two quick scenarios around that. So, if I don't trust somebody, it means that every time they come to me with work or with a request or whatever the case might be, I'm questioning them, I'm second guessing them, I'm double checking their work, I'm micromanaging them. So, because I'm doing that, it takes a lot longer. So, time increases in terms of getting basic tasks done. And that obviously has negative implications in the work environment and in personal relationships. Similarly, when we don't have trust, cost increases because I'm now possibly, let me give you just a very simple example. I'm now bringing in a consultant to do some of the work that you should be doing because I don't trust that you're going to be able to do the work well. And that's just one practical example of that. But when you equate the two, if there's an increase in time, the length it takes to get basic tasks done, it stands to reason that your cost of execution, your cost of running your organization increases as well. So that's why trust is a very hard measure, but also a very critical conversation that we should be having in the work environment. So when I have these conversations in my coaching sessions, I use a model that I've designed called the Real Trust Model. And as you can imagine, the Real is an acronym. So I'm going to quickly take you through that model. Obviously, in the interest of time, I can't go into too much detail. So the R in the Real Trust Model stands for relationships. And what I always emphasize is that it's very difficult for us to have a trust relationship with people if I don't have a good relationship with them. Doesn't mean that we all have to be best friends, but I have to at least feel this is somebody that I can respect. I respect their values, I respect their principles. And when that is absent, it's almost, in my opinion, impossible to move ahead with a trust relationship. So we have to get that sorted out first. And we have to have conversations around this. What are some of the assumptions I might be making about you and your values and your principles, and vice versa? The E in the trust model is for effort, and the effort means that I trust people who deliver on their commitments, who deliver on their promises. In other words, people who do their work well, who meet deadlines, etc., etc. And when people consistently don't do their work well, poor quality work, or they don't meet their deadlines, it starts to erode the trust relationship, and vice versa. So when I do find that I'm not having a good trust relationship with somebody, it might be worthwhile having a robust conversation with them around what's the effort I'm seeing from your side, or what's the effort you're seeing from me. You might not trust me because I'm not delivering on my commitments. The A in the trust model and the Real Trust Model is assistance. We tend to trust people who show us that they're not just in it for themselves. In other words, they're here to assist others to succeed. They're here to help others to grow. They helping them to do their work well. So that assistance, it's kind of teamwork, I guess, in essence, shows me that I'm you're part of this picture. I'm okay because we're okay. That kind of principle. So that's the assistance. And then the last one is loyalty, the L. And loyalty really is about, I don't trust people when they badmouth me or the team or the manager or the company behind our backs. If you're working in a business and that business pays your salary, I guess it's fair for the business to expect a certain level of loyalty, and for us to be able to have those tough conversations when we need to. So yeah, that in a nutshell is the model that I use, the real trust model. Obviously, we get into some really interesting conversations when we start to unpack this model. And yes, as always, you're welcome to connect with me and have conversations with me in terms of this model and how that could make sense in some of the challenges that you might be experiencing in your work environment.